move, giving Louisa a clear target to aim at, and the ones who survive are defeated by Nina, who hits them head-on, and Toa, who uses her thief skills to conceal herself and attack from behind. She tells Hazel that by using this strategy, he can use offensive magic freely, because he doesn't have to heal anyone except Nina, so they defeat all of their enemies following her strategy. After their successful mission, she tells them they'll find another nest on their own, because even if their level isn't high, they should continue challenging their limits and prove they're the best. Tomo returns to the guild, and informs the receptionist that she's assigned the job of defeating the Shadowtail nests to Toa and her team. The receptionist is shocked, because she doubts they're strong enough for the task, but she's surprised when the group shows up with the tails of 2 monkey lords, proving that they cleared 2 nests. On the other hand, Makoto tells Mio to go to the Tinnarak forest and find the ambrosia flower, because he wants it to become their signature product. He goes to see Patrick and requests to rent one of their stores, but Patrick wonders why he doesn't want to buy his own shop. We see Makoto learn from the Merchant Guild's receptionist that if someone buys their own shop, the government will ask them to spy for them if they're in the Ion Kingdom. Patrick tells him there's a neutral city that isn't tied to any country, and he thinks it would be perfect for him to start his store. He even knows someone in that city, so he asks Makoto to wait until he can contact him. Meanwhile, Mio reaches the Tinnarak forest, but she doesn't like it because there seems to be nothing tasty there. A human party also enters the forest, and they are watched by 2 elves, who don't seem happy about them trespassing. The party is soon defeated, and one of the elves named Aqua tells her partner Eris that their enemies are alive, but she wouldn't have hesitated to kill them if they'd laid their hands on the Crimson Lotus. A party is held to celebrate Makoto's new company, and he thanks everyone. He's a little shy, so he asks Tomo to speak with everyone since it's her specialty, but she tells him that everyone wants to hear his voice. Tomo's clone brings him a drink, and he pats her head, which makes Tomo happy because they're connected. Mio gets jealous and brings out a dish, which she had discovered inside. She thinks she should feed it to him, but he eats it himself, making her sad. Tomo takes Mio away from Makoto, because she wants everyone to spend time with him. The Aoki Akina approaches him, and mentions that she can now maintain her human form for a longer time. She also gives him a report of their journey to the Tinnarak forest, and reveals the location of the ambrosia flower. She wanted to bring him a sample, but couldn't because the forest is ruled by another race. Makoto wonders if all the Aokis have gotten used to living in the demi-plane, and she tells him that they've adjusted well, all thanks to him. The lizard man Liddy also appears before Makoto to thank him, because he learned new techniques in their joint training. He reveals that he's even getting trained in unarmed combat by Tomo, but this worries Makoto, because he doesn't want everyone to become like her. Biren wonders if he likes staying inside, and he says that it's a good place to live, but sometimes Mio and Tomo cause problems. He wonders if Biren and the others are becoming bored since they never leave the demi-plane, but Biren considers the place a paradise, and says they don't need anything else. He's happy to craft weapons for everyone, but is also interested in the weapons of the outside world, so Makoto allows him to work in their new shop at Sige. Later on, an orc tells him that he's the new guide for the adventurers in Mirage City, a fake town created to trade goods that exist only in the demi-plane with the outside world. Makoto thanks him for his services, and he's glad to be useful. The whole crowd starts shouting, and they all want to talk with him. Mio complains to Tomo that she wanted to be the one to give the report about the ambrosia flower and the people guarding it, but Tomo tells her they should wait until they're sure. Suddenly, they stop sensing Makoto's presence, which makes them worried. His presence returns, and quickly they rush to his location, where they find him practicing archery. Mio hugs him while crying, and he wonders what happened. Tomo wonders how he practices his archery, and he tells her that he focuses on the target by emptying his mind, so she realizes that he's making his consciousness vanish and reappear to shoot his targets. Mio notes that a person can only do this if they're dead, so when he was practicing, it felt like he'd died. Makoto assures them he's fine and they don't need to worry, but Tomo tells him that his mana capacity is increasing. She notes that a person's mana is normally fixed and can't be increased, but by experiencing death and rebirth, his mana has increased and is now comparable to that of the goddess. The demi-plane has also expanded, and if the goddess finds out about this, she won't be happy, so they must suppress his mana. The next day, Makoto buys supplies for his store, but he's mentally exhausted since he can't practice archery, and because Mio keeps making moves on him. He's lost in thoughts when a bag belonging to a demi-human comes flying towards him. He returns it to its owner and sees the demi-human's face, which makes him realize that he looks similar to them. A girl starts hitting on Makoto, making him notice he's in a red light district, but before things go too far, he's taken away by Tomo and Mio. They get angry at him and wonder if they aren't good enough for him. He considers them his family, but is embarrassed to say this, and instead tells them that they have nothing to do with what he was doing. This makes them furious, and they tear apart his clothes, but before they can do anything, he runs away by creating a mist gate. Emma sees Makoto hanging on a tree, and from the pink mist and spider webs, she understands the situation. She tells him that his protective gear is ready, so he goes to Rugu. He tries his new gear and is pleased with it, but suddenly Mio arrives and apologizes for the previous night. He says it's alright, but tells her not to do it again. He asks her about the race guarding the ambrosia flowers, and she tells him to leave that to her, but he gets scared of what she'll do, and decides to go with her. They soon reach the Tinnarak forest, and because they sense someone following them, they decide to get out of their sight. They find the ambrosia flowers, and Makoto feels someone must be taking care of them because of how great they look. He gets a flashback, where we see him holding his sister's hand, so he asks Mio to hold his hand, since the ground is slippery. She gets happy by this, but they're interrupted by Aqua and Eris, which makes Mio mad. The humans also arrive and get ready to steal the flowers, making the forest guardians think they're all thieves. Eris attacks using ice magic, and the human girl asks Makoto why he isn't fighting back, as he realizes she's the same girl from the night before. Makoto easily deflects Eris's attack, so she attacks with her flaming arrows, but he blocks them with his defensive Kai. He thinks he can get the situation under control, but notices Mio getting angrier, preparing to kill everyone. Tomo telepathically communicates with Makoto, and he asks for her help, but she refuses because he went along with Mio, and also held her hand. So to make her help him, he allows her to make a katana and cultivate rice. She tells him to distract the adventurers so she can open a mist gate and transfer them to the Mirage City, and to calm Mio, he should feed her favorite food. Makoto pushes the adventurers into the mist gate, and then gives his blood to Mio, bringing her back to normal. She uses her dark magic to absorb the mana of the elves and stop their attacks. Makoto tells her to tie them up in case they attack again, and he explains that he didn't come to steal the flowers, saying he just wants to talk, so they take them to their village, while Makoto realizes that a familiar magic barrier has been set up around the village to hide its presence. They're greeted by the elders and their representative Nil, who calls himself a forest ogre, surprising Mio because she thought they were elves. Nil's son Adano arrives to greet Makoto, and mentions that they aren't different from elves, even if they change their names. The elders say that elves need the forest to survive, whereas the forest ogres protect the forest, but Adano wonders how long they plan to live in hiding, because the dragon's barrier is constantly getting weaker. Makoto mentions he's just a merchant looking for medicinal ingredients, but Adano is suspicious of how strong he is, so the elders continue to question him. Afterwards, Aqua and Eris apologize to Makoto, and ask him to meet their master Mundo, who arrives by breaking the wall. He shakes Makoto's hand, but seeing him hold his hand for longer than she ever could, Mio gets angry and sends him flying. Makoto tells Mio he wants her to spy on Adano and Mundo, which excites her because she has seen spies in his memories. After gathering the information, she reports to Makoto that Mundo is possessed by something, whereas Adano is in contact with the demons, so he tells her to go back to the demi-plane and swap with Tomo, because there's something he wants to confirm with her. The elves throw a feast for him, but he sees Mundo and Adano arguing. Suddenly, a skeleton monster appears from Mundo's body and kills Adano, so Makoto confronts him. He notes that he just sucked the life force out of Mundo's body and that he's still alive, but he had to kill Adano because of his connections with a particular woman. Based on his gaming knowledge, Makoto knows that the monster is a lich. The monster tries to attack him, but thanks to Makoto's resistance against status effects, it doesn't work on him. He then uses Mio's dark magic to absorb the lich's mana, completely overwhelming him. Tomo arrives, and transfers the lich through a gate so Makoto can talk to him later. His victory surprises everyone, and they question if he's really a merchant, revealing they had planned to kill him after the feast, which makes him horrified. Tomo talks to Nil, but he fails to recognize her, so she reminds him that he was the one who asked her to set up the mist barrier around their village. She intimidates him, and he suddenly realizes who she is, so he quickly tells everyone to bow to her, but she tells them to instead bow before Makoto since he's her master. They return to interrogate the Lich, and Makoto asks him why he was in the village. He says that he wanted to observe the forest ogres and their abilities, but Tomo asks him why he became an undead. He reveals he wants to